Hey everyone, my name is Zach. I'm a 22-year-old competitive bowler from Canada, currently living near Frankfurt, Germany. Welcome back to the COMPCLIMB training series, where I record most of my training, provide in-depth analysis of every session, and just chat about climbing with an emphasis on competition. Today we're at Studio Block for our slab session. This session is one of the sessions that's new to this training cycle, and actually new to the whole COMPCLIMB series in general. I haven't done this session while we've been filming COMPCLIMB. I've done it only a little bit in the past as well, so it's still actually a pretty new session for me. But yeah, it's great. This session is just going to be a session where we only get on slab climbs, and it's like I find these sessions are really important for me to do while I'm like going into an event that I want to do well in. Just because I'm more of a powerful climber in general, I really need to make sure I take the time to emphasize my slab training while I'm going into events, so that I'm feeling like I can be up there with the best slab climbers at the event. Especially because nowadays it's like, in the past, it used to be almost like you'd see like maybe 25% of bowlers at competitions were slabs, but nowadays it could even be higher than that, like almost 50%. So yep, definitely need to make sure my slab game is on point for nationals coming up soon. So yeah, Studio Block is a great choice for this session. There's a lot of slabs up right now, and already notice what I'm doing on this little crimp. That's going to remind me of the tip of the day for today. I keep doing like a shadow match on this crimp. And later on this boulder, I actually find some better beta. This sort of shadow match and then locking off on this crimp was really hard, and I wasn't able to find success with this move, especially because this left foot that I'm standing on is super polished and it was really hard to trust. But yeah, you'll notice how I'm shadow matching. So my tip of the day for today is like, it's like a basic, like a fundamental way to do a shadow match properly. And most people know how to do this, but it's very easy to forget. And I find this is like just a common theme with a lot of my tips of the days are like things that are like not so like revolutionary or groundbreaking, but just things that are easy to forget for climbers of all levels. Like pros can forget this, amateurs can forget this. It's just a very easy thing. Like sometimes it's very easy to forget like basic climbing techniques. And then as soon as you like remember, oh, I need to optimize in this way, it can help you do something that you just have been realizing you forgot how to do properly. And anyway, the simple way that I was noticing that I had to do the shadow match nicely, it was just to like actually do it as a shadow match. Like it's also, I guess I've heard some people call it like a Houdini match. I've heard some people in Europe call it a Houdini match, and even in Canada as well. But the reason like for the way I know it is called a shadow match, and that's because you want to like almost create no shadow, right? Sometimes we can forget, especially on like big pockets or like big holds. Like sometimes a lot of time on a pocket you need to do a shadow match because there's not enough room to get to like sort of shimmy your fingers and do a normal match. So oftentimes we can forget how to optimize for a shadow match and just do like we sort of get into this mindset where we just got to do a big powerful like hand swap, and it's sort of like a powerful move, and we can just sort of like have our other hand floating in the air over here, sort of levitating, and then just do like a pull and try and catch this hand again. And I do this all the time too. I just forget that it's almost like a foot match as well. So what you want to do is you actually, instead of sort of like taking this hand off the wall and then just like jamming this hand right back on the hold, you want to cover, like you actually want to make contact with your hands. So on this crimp, what I was doing is, I was crimping the crimp, and then I was like actually touching my fingertips, so that all you do is you slide your other hand out, and then this hand falls right into it. There's actually no sort of like air time where there's a switch being made. I can't think of a scenario in a shadow match where this isn't more effective. You want to like sort of make contact with your hand and just slide your hand out while the other hand falls into the hold. And this is like the sort of same thing you do with just a basic foot match, right? You don't sort of have your other foot, levitating in the air, and then you yank this foot out of the way and then you jam this other foot on, right? But I so many times do I forget this when I'm trying to do a shadow match, where I'll just be like, okay, I got my hold, and now I just let go and I grab it again, and then I fall off and I'm like, wait, that was dumb. I should just do the shadow match properly. So yeah, the tip of the day is just to remember how to optimize for your shadow match. You want to create as little distance as possible between the hand that's grabbing the hold and then the new hand that's going to take the hold. And this sort of principle, it's just like what also applies to... Oh, and by the way, if you'll notice, on that second last crimp of that boulder, of that last climb, I did the same. I did another shadow match. And so it was actually sort of very relevant for the day. I noticed myself doing it a couple times here and there. So yeah, that last boulder I also did another shadow match. And I had to do the same thing, where I just sort of created no space and slid my hand out. But yeah, tip of the day, remember how to shadow match properly, because it's just like way easier to do it properly than not properly, obviously. But yeah, we did that first 6 was a bit tricky. I had to come up with some better beta. I don't know if I sort of did, if I broke that first boulder, if I made it like maybe a bit morpho by going up to that higher volume first. It didn't seem that morpho. It just seemed like it might be hard for some short people. But yeah, I didn't. The shadow match didn't end up being the beta for me. And then I got a nice flash of these couple moderate sixes. And yeah, it was really nice. I was noticing that I was really able to find like my slab groove for the day. And when I have, with my limited experience of doing these slab sessions in the past, I really, really do enjoy actually like having a dedicated slab session. It's actually, it can be a lot of fun. Like, not only do I have a lot of fun because I actually enjoy slab, even though it's not necessarily my forte, but it's super effective for training. It's like, you know, especially with the amount of double sessions I do, where I sort of like to break up my training and do like sort of dedicated sessions where, you know, the whole session is focused on one thing. Like, you know, I'll have my session where I only train on the spray wall, or I'll have my session where I only campus, or I only do bouldering. I really like to break up the sessions and focus on one thing, not just because it's good like physically. Like, sometimes I won't want to do a session where I'm like, you know, climbing on the spray wall a little bit and then also trying to boulder, because maybe I won't get a good balance of things and I could tire myself out on the spray wall where I can't climb on comp style boulders nicely. So it's good physically to train like this, but it's also good mentally. It just helps your mind like really dive into one specific thing for it to focus on, and then you can really just like bring out all your abilities on whatever sort of thing you're trying to train really well, and like really get some good focus on training in. Also, I'll just quickly mention, I tried this boulder a couple more times today. I think I just have to give up on this boulder. You notice I'm like pointing at my thumb here. I was pointing at my thumb for the camera so I'd remember to talk about this. I have to forfeit on this boulder because the best way to do that foot match is to like sort of press on your thumb with your thumb on that foothold. And it's way better than palming on that volume. It's like way too slippery. I just feel like I can't do it with that. So the only way I feel like I could do that foot match, I've done it actually once, but then I fell after, is with a thumb, and my thumb has been hurting so much trying that move. So I have to give up on the COMPCLIMB, which is kind of unfortunate because it's a super cool slab, and I don't like walking away from boulders, but yeah, I forfeit on that one. But yeah, for targeted training sessions, like they're especially effective with something that of a weakness that you want to get better on. So like, let's say you have like a pinching weakness and you want to go through a training cycle where you want to get better at pinching. I mean, not only would I recommend pinch block training, but you should have a boulder, like you should have like some sessions where they're like dedicated pinching sessions where you go and you only climb boulders with pinches. It's just like, you know, obviously when you have something you want to get better at, you should really focus on it. And so, especially just with like slab climbing and with my regular boulder sessions where there's sort of somewhat unfocused, I often find myself maybe skipping some slabs because I got too caught up in a powerful boulder, like because I usually start with powerful boulders, which is like an injury prevention thing that I mentioned. I like to do the hard stuff while I'm warm so I don't hurt myself. But yeah, like especially with this nature of training, I can often like save slabs for the end and then sometimes forget about them or be too tired for them. So especially when I'm leading into a comp, I have to make sure that I sort of get my prerequisite amount of slab climbing in. So like a nice set amount of slab climbing in so that my body just knows how to slab climb, and slab climbing doesn't feel foreign to my body going into a comp. So that's why these dedicated slab sessions are really good. And like I'll even do it in the off season as well. Like maybe if like it isn't just something that I'll do before, like right immediately before comp, just because the dedicated sessions are so good. Like just for practicing any sort of skill, just make a dedicated session out of it. And yeah, like I said, the slab session is actually really fun. It was really quite cool today. Actually, I found my body was just really getting into the groove of slab climbing. And I found that I was just able to find positions like really well, and my footwork, my footwork was firing on 100% throughout the whole session. It was a really nice feeling, and I felt like it was really good practice. So I'm excited to do more of these sessions. So yeah, we're getting on this 6 again. If you remember, this was one of the boulders from the comp simulation I did a few days ago. This one, me and Maddie tried on that day, and we could not figure it out for the life of us, and that was still the case today. You'll notice I'm still not able to do this first move. This beta here that I'm trying was like the one thing that I felt like it'd be possible. I came up with this after a few tries, and it's like, this definitely feels like not the intended sequence. What I'm trying here is super morpho. Like you have to be tall enough in order to get your foot all the way to this foothold and then reach all the way up to this volume. I'm still not sure what the intended sequence is for this bowler. I'll have to find Yasha or someone who was setting on this day and like ask him what the sequence was. But something like the morpho beta definitely feels possible. Also, I don't know if it was this try or like one in the future, but I started to get a bit close to it, and then I hit my chest on this little black foothold, and it actually really hurt. So I I have to forfeit on this beta for this boulder. I actually can't try the morpho beta anymore because now I'm scared of hitting my chest. So I'll have to find something else because that's definitely not the intended sequence. There's got to be a better way. But anyway, this for now is still remaining the impossible slab 6 studio block. I can't, Maddie and I still haven't figured it out. I want to know if somebody's done this. And the ending is actually pretty hard too. It took me a while to figure out. It was a good ending to practice. I came up with this really cool beta here where I use like a strength of mine, which is just like sort of anytime I can get my heels involved on a slab, I feel really at home and really comfortable because it usually means I can open my hips and use my really strong open hips that are it's just always an advantage when I can get those into play on a slab. Maddie's sort of equivalent to this is her drop knees. Anytime like if you watch Maddie climb, like in live or in competition or just in training, you'll see her throw drop knees all over the place. And like when you see her get into a drop knee position, you know she's about to find success or like make her way through a sequence, and she's in a really comfortable position because that's just a really strong position for her. And then my open hips is sort of like my like advantageous climbing position. And anytime I can sort of pincer something together with my hips or get my heels involved, I'm usually going to be having a good time. And so yeah, especially like I mentioned, like I'm not sponsored by Scarpa, but these Instinct VSRs are like it's probably the best heel I've had on a shoe. It's like fully rubber. There's no like little patch of felt, and I just feel so strong with my heel hooks in these shoes. So yeah, like this sort of position here where I can just get my heel involved and rather than my toe is I always find a lot of success in. And so yeah, the session was winding down. So just for practice, I decided to run the ending of this again just because it was good to work on. And especially during the slab sessions, because it's sort of like a skill that I'm trying to practice, I'll definitely like repeat boulders in this session more often than I would in sort of my unfocused boulder sessions where I just try to go and get as much variety as possible. That being said, in this session, I didn't really repeat too much just because there were a lot of like moderate slabs and a lot of 6s that in the gym that I hadn't tried. And so I was able to actually do like a bunch of new slabs that I hadn't done. That being said, actually this boulder here is a repeat. We did this one a while ago. I actually don't remember. It feels like it was a while ago. I actually didn't, I remember I got a flash of this boulder and I didn't remember what my beta was. So it still felt kind of foreign, which was nice. I think this was probably like 3 weeks ago or something at this point. But yeah, this boulder, this is actually one of my favorite boulders in the gym. This wall too is like a really fun wall. It's like a super slab. So these volumes that I'm standing on like look really terrible. It's like, how are you standing on these? But it's because this gray part of the wall is like really slabbed. And obviously I'm like using my full foot position here all over these volumes that just feels super strong, especially on like a slab where I can like use my full foot position and then point my toe down. That's like where the shoe feels like really strong in this full foot position. But yeah, I remember when I did this boulder initially, I somehow reached to the finish like really tally, and I did like I cheated the sequence. So I was gonna try, and I didn't end up using the feet over here on the left when I first did this boulder. So I was like, while I was trying this boulder, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I can try and do it like a more sort of intended way. And it was actually really hard to do this ending. I don't remember what I did initially. Something where I didn't use the 2 feet on the left, but this way was like really hard, and that was actually like sort of a desperate finish match. But yeah, this boulder was really cool. And that was the last boulder of a really nice feeling slab session. I think we only have a couple more. Well, we have like one more of these while we're here in Germany. And then obviously we're flying to Canada for about a month just to get on the time zone and get some training in at home for nationals. And I think we have a couple more slab sessions on the program leading up to nationals. So yeah, we'll definitely get like some really good slab work in before the competition, and I'll feel really good, hopefully, for slab by then. But yeah, that wraps up today's day of training. Tomorrow is rest day for me, and then in a couple days, you can expect the episode from our session at COMPCLIMB, the new gym opening in Heidelberg, with the Sykes group of people, and I'm really excited for that. It should be a fun video, so look forward to that. Insert catchy video outro here.